Here we go one more time.
You're really good at this.
I need this practice anyway, right?
So put a little flavor in it. Let's step that thing up. Here we go. Here you go. Are you ready? Right. Get ready to rumble.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Not Influence Show, a Cricket Hat production. I'm Donnie, and we're recording tonight at Alpine Ford on Highway 50 in Pueblo, Colorado. If you're in the market for a new Ford vehicle or a pre-owned vehicle from any manufacturer, come see one of our amazing sales teams, and they'll get you going. Tonight's special guests are friends of mine and Colorado drag racing import legends, Brent and Jamie from PFI Speed. What's up, guys?
How's it going,
What's up? Let's go. Here we are.
Yes, sir.
Ready to rock it.
So we were all at the track today for a test day for your guys' event tomorrow, PFI Speed Fest, the first big event of Pueblo Motorsports Park 50th anniversary and the biggest import race in Colorado. You guys ready for that or what?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, 100%. Super excited.
Yep.
We got some of the raddest group of guys involved, so this is gonna be fantastic.
Definitely.
Great show.
So what got you guys, where did the decision to start doing your own import events, where did that start out?
Well, PFI's kind of always been involved in drag racing in Colorado. From the beginning, in the 96, 97, we got with Jeff Sipes from Vandermeer Speedway. He was involved with all, putting all the events together. Dude. He's so rad. But he came to my house, to my basement. I was running a little shop out of my basement and working on cars in the driveway. And he came and spitballed the idea with us, and we came up with Rocky Mountain Import Challenge. And that was the very first drag race event for import cars in Colorado.
And that was in 96?
96, 97, somewhere in there. Yeah, it was somewhere in there.
So was that a series or was that like one race?
That was one race. So that's how it was. In Colorado, actually, for years, was just one race, one import event a year,
It was like IDRC or that.
Yeah, and we started racing way before IDRC came.
Yeah.
And but it always has been just, with Vandermeer was always a great vibe. We even tried to have an IFO out here at Pueblo.
Right.
That was a lot of years ago, but
it didn't work out.
Well, it was weather.
I think it was weather. I think the weather was an issue, honestly. But we're always trying to find something to do.
So how fast were guys going at that first race in 96?
I mean, I would say 13.8 to 14.0 was the fast guys. Like, that was fast.
That was top of the line guys.
Yeah. The little turbo Hondas, I mean, we were putting, I think 20 T28 size stuff on, real small, 16G and all that fun little stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a lot of technology with it.
No, and everything back then we broke all the time. But we were, always deep into it. So we've always been evolving and growing with the technology and helping bring in some and coming up with our own ideas.
That was all before my time too.
Yeah.
Like I was 96. I was in elementary school.
Right.
We've always been hardcore into it. Like I said,
I was racing go-karts then.
Yeah, that's
I
great.
had a Briggs and Stratton.
There you
Hey,
go.
you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
I honestly, I didn't start working on cars until I got into the junkyard business with my buddy Scott. When I first took the transmission off the engine, I was actually taking not the bell housing bolts, but the case bolts.
Right.
I always remember that.
The case.
I was separating the case. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm pulling the transmission." I really didn't know, but
So I think one time you told me that the junkyard business that you ran at the time is how PFI's name even came about, right? For people who don't know.
Yep. So my buddy Scott and I in high school, we started Honda Dismantlers, which is it grew into a crazy big deal. But back then, during high school, we'd kind of ditch classes and take cars apart and sling used parts, and and that business grew. It grew huge. But that's where I started, and I built relationships with a lot of other salvage yards. I got married, and I kind of felt like I was struggling for money.
Right.
Doing the junk business, we didn't make much, but so I thought going on my own would be better. So I started PFI, which was Part Finders International. So that's what we did. I kind of knew the inventory of a lot of yards across the country in our own state. I knew their the inventory, and then I put an 800 number in every major city's phone book,
Nice.
and they'd call and leave messages, tell me, you know, what they're looking for, and I'd middleman all these parts, and you know, that's what I saw me doing, honestly. Like,
Right.
That was carpart.com
Yeah.
before the internet.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
that's what he was doing. Like,
And that's-
carpart.com,
and that's what
that was the business.
PFI
Right.
was gonna be, you know, like you click on part finders and national, you find your part, and
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
There's just an inventory across the country where you can find a gauge cluster for this truck.
yeah, exactly.
And we knew where it was, and get it, ship it, sell it.
Yep. So that's you know, that's what I was doing because that's what I knew how to do. But at the same time, we were tinkering on our own cars and friends' cars. I had an '87 CRX SI. I put a Corky Bell turbo kit on, Bell Engineering.
Right.
If anybody learns about turbos, there's an old book called Turbocharging by Corky Bell. You'll see the CRX in that book.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. So like I've been involved in this stuff in import cars since the get-go.
Like, there's safety rules made because of this guy.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, the scatter shields.
Scatter.
I was in Pomona and I had a clutch explode and I went into the crowd and it actually hit some people. So
Oh,
like they were
man.
like, you got to run scatter shields on Hondas. It came in and hit me in the hand. Like the clutch just disintegrated
Right.
the transmission.
That's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, the safety rules come from people
Things
getting hurt.
happening
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh, 100%.
So, like, that
For
was,
sure.
it came apart. Now we have billet bell housing, scatter
Yeah.
shields. Like, you tech cars, you know how it goes. Like,
For sure.
that's his fault.
Things change.
That particular one.
Yeah, that particular one's his fault.
So, what, where did the transition from being part finders
To PFI,
international to being PFI Speed? Where did that happen? How did
Well,
that
I mean,
come
we
about?
were doing some street racing. No, that's
Right.
what it was. I mean,
Absolutely.
and then,
Yep.
people want stuff. And literally, like I said, I was working in my basement and working on cars in the driveway. And I literally had the whole city block just covered in import cars. Like, I was insane. Like,
The pizza boy couldn't get there, man.
the city guy would come and give me tickets and all kinds of stuff. Like, I would have to, like, get up at 4, get ready at 5, be out working on the car early in the morning, and I had to quit at 9 because that's when he'd drive his truck by. So
Right.
as soon as
Because he wasn't allowed to, like, work on cars.
I wasn't
at
allowed to
his
work on my
house.
cars in the driveway. It was against the city ordinance,
So
whatever.
he
They
had
were
to
they were
beat
literally
the city guy.
What city were you in?
Loveland.
Loveland.
Yep.
And they were always coming in.
804 East 8th Street. Anybody wants to go buy that house? That's where it started.
Heck yeah.
It was cool.
We drive by there every once in a while.
I do. It looks crazy now. You still see the concrete I poured in part of the driveway because like it turned into a mud hole, and when you came in with these lowered cars, it'd pick up one wheel and scrape all the way up. So I had to like pour this concrete out there. Probably didn't get a permit. I just poured it.
Did
That's
it.
why the city guy didn't like him.
And how
there's all
did you
kinds of-
guys end up hooking up?
So
He's got the story for that.
Yeah. So I was working heavy equipment.
Right.
And I was always like, I grew up racing go-karts and stuff. I was doing circle track stuff.
Right.
Started doing like street racing stuff.
He was a hoodlum.
I was. And
I bet.
we didn't necessarily not get along, but a lot of his friends and me didn't get along.
Gotcha.
I was a hoodlum.
Right.
I was-
You were just starting
I
trouble
was
with
rough
everybody
around the
or
edges.
what?
He punched my machinist.
Oh, man.
That wasn't my fault.
Can't imagine that.
There was a woman involved, and it was not my
I
fault.
can't imagine that.
Guys, don't stick up for a woman unless you mean it.
Right. Right.
So we didn't necessarily get along, but then there became a point where I was like, hey, one of my buddies got a lot of work done with him. And I was like, I need some stuff done. He's like, dude, just go get with Brent. Me and him finally sat down and we're like, dang, we're pretty cool.
Right.
Like, I'm just a stupid kid. Like,
Honestly,
What-
when he came,
just-
he never left.
Timeline on
no,
this.
legit. It
Where
was
do you
what, 10
think
years
this
ago?
is? 10 years
10
ago?
years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been here 10
Maybe,
years.
Maybe more.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe more.
Yeah.
I think more. At
It
least 10
seems
years.
longer
Yeah, at least 10
Yeah.
years.
because 10 years ago, I've been at Pueblo Motorsports Park for 8 years.
Okay, so it's probably like 12 then.
Yeah. So I think it's been longer.
Yeah, that's the
So-
problem nowadays. I don't remember how the time's gone so fast.
He's
I have
getting
no
so
idea.
old, man.
Yeah. Because
I'm following him, but he's getting old.
I think, yeah.
But
I
so
think it's been
It just feels like it speeds
So,
up every year.
it was one of those. I was working heavy equipment and like I worked long hours, but I couldn't have any fun.
Right.
It's like it got to a point where I was done with the job and I had some time off. I'm like, let me fix my whole car up.
Mm-hmm.
So then went to his shop to get some fabrication done, tune the car. I just never left the damn place.
Yeah, because
I literally-
he learned I can play with you, the welder. I can play with this. I can work on this. I can use your lift.
Like I can use your lift. You mean I can just work on stuff and you'll pay me? Like, so then I got a day job just for like tax purposes and stuff. And I go work a day job. I get off and I go work at his place. So then I started like lining up customers and stuff. Then like a year later, he's like, "What the hell are you doing at this day job, dude?
Right.
Like you're here every day.
Yeah.
Like it's better if you're just here." So then I just talked to my wife and quit the day job. Been there ever since.
Yeah.
I mean, the cool thing is like, he lets me work there like it's my own place too.
Oh, you treat it like it's his own for sure.
Like,
I think a lot
great.
of people look at you guys as a team. You know what I mean? And I think you guys are a great team, you know, especially for the import racers in Colorado, and not just in Colorado. I mean, East Coast too, Florida, Maryland.
Well, when you go through so many different trials and you're going through so many things, and we built a relationship and we learned how to bounce stuff off each other we're pretty yin to yang to each other. Like I was a pretty hothead about stuff growing up, and he's real mellow. So like there was a lot of stuff he just wouldn't stick up for himself or me. I'd just get into fights over nothing. So I kind of got him to, you know, like me rubbing off on him, like he'll kind of stand up like, "Hey, don't walk all over me." And I won't just fly off the handle.
He got you to chill out and not just punch his
he got me.
machinist in the face anymore.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
what?
Yeah. Like it kind of yin to yang. We kind of mellowed each other out.
That's
you
good.
know, he helped me grow up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's cool. And then he let me treat his business like my own.
Yeah.
So it's something like I've always been proud of, that he lets me treat it like that. So I can't let him down.
Right.
I got to do as good as I can with it.
Yeah. And you guys are doing a great job. I mean, I was up there a few weeks ago for a chassis seminar, and everything it's just such a good vibe. You know what I mean?
And that's really important to me, because like this, you know, all these guys, we're all doing this because we enjoy it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're coming in and you're, like you said, angry or upset or all these crazy emotions, got all the stress. I mean, this is supposed to be the relief.
Right.
This is the fun part.
The shop is the relief of all your stress. We're here to tinker,
right,
and have purpose. Like every guy needs purpose.
So with racing, like with drag racing, the way I look at stuff anymore, like I grew up in racing go-karts. So like I started racing go-karts when I was 9.
right.
Kids don't have that stuff anymore. Like junior dragsters are still around, but it's not a huge thing like it used to be.
Right.
Like the next generation of drag racer you're getting is the high schooler with a Honda Civic that's buying an eBay turbo kit. They're showing up to the racetrack. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
They don't know you can't two-step and practice a launch in the staging lanes. You know, there's a lot of people get mad at import guys for that kind of stuff. The way we've kind of taken the approach to that is we got to teach these guys like they're 8-year-old kids in a junior dragster.
You guys do a great job. I mean, I've been in Colorado and been around the last 8 to 10 years. Been to races that you guys have been at Bandamere. You guys have supported everything I've ever been a part of at Pueblo. And one thing that's always stuck out to me is how much you guys help each other. Like you said, you bounce off of each other, but everybody that's going fast in the import scene or has a well-built car, like you said, I've looked at a lot of different cars, is coming out of PFI Speed, or people that you guys are friends with that you're still helping. Maybe they're helping you too.
Or we've influenced over the years,
Right.
or they've worked for me in the past.
And then just
100%.
like coming up there and doing the chassis seminars and just seeing what Steven's doing now with, you know, I mean.
It's really cool. Like I look at his kids, like I'm proud as crap of his kids, because like I look at them and I'm like, man, think how good they're going to be when they get to be my age, let alone his age. Because like they have access to so much knowledge from like, not just us, like that's not talking us up. Like all the people that we know that we get ideas from, that we learn stuff from, they have access to it.
They grew up with these guys.
Yeah, they grew up with the, you know, Ron and Ed Bergenholtz and, you know, Jason Parks and Tom, like all these guys that are like the OG, like the first guys to run 10s, 9s, 8s, you know, all that stuff. They have access to them. They have access to that tech, and think of the technology they have access to now.
Oh yeah. I mean, Steven jumps on I had to buy him a special computer because now he designs it all. He scans the cars, designs it all before we even build it. Like
Like,
this stuff
we're
is
getting-
like,
We're getting metal 3D printed parts
yeah,
that would take forever to machine.
yeah.
And
well,
he's starting.
And he just
he's
he
designing-
draws them on his
yeah.
computer,
Yep.
sends it into this company, they print it, and it's in the mailbox
Yep.
3-4 days later, dude.
like I say,
and it's bad. It's
it's
awesome.
It's sweet.
I don't remember how many cars that we looked at the chassis at the shop.
I
that
think
he
we
did.
had 17 cars there,
And how many? And few of those were his.
5 he did. So
Yeah.
there was the one that me and him did together first, and then he did 4 more, and then there's one more for you to tech tomorrow.
Yeah, and I already looked at it. If I would have had my paperwork with me, I mean, I already told the dude, "You're good." You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like he
It's
said,
huge.
"Yeah,
and
Steven did it."
The
and-
one cool one, like the coolest one of all, this one shocked the crap out of you. You were up at Frost's place, which
Yep.
is a couple blocks from my house. Blake had bought a car.
road course
Now that
car.
I've looked, I actually had to look up road course rules because we're doing a cage for a guy for road course.
right,
And that's how that cage was built. It was a road course
yeah.
car.
It was a nice road course cage.
Yeah. He couldn't cert it.
Nope.
And this was on Sunday.
It was on a Sunday.
On a
at that,
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I can't cert it.
Yep.
The next Saturday or the next Sunday, you had a cert day at our shop.
Yep.
That cage was cut out and done when you showed up.
Yeah. That's when I was like,
And
man,
beautiful.
And it was-
Steven's a
yeah.
badass. Like,
Yeah.
you know. And of course, Shane is too.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
He's wild. He's so
um,
good.
Yeah.
Like he's so good.
I mean, I remember 2 or 3 years ago at Race Week, we were all at the hotel and it was raining and you guys were thrashing on your car, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was
Oh,
the
yeah.
American
Yeah.
Carney.
in Kearney.
Yeah, in
the
Kearney.
American.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a wild night.
That was.
But you guys got it done and you
We got it
made
done.
passes the next day.
Yeah.
I
we
think
did.
you overheated 5 times on the way to the track.
Yeah. We did. I didn't realize the block was cracked.
Yeah, we
Right.
found out the block was cracked when we got back and tore it apart. Hold on, I think
Yeah.
we went to another race with it and then
Yeah.
we tore it apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, it's Colorado's drag racing landscape has changed a lot
Oh yeah.
in the last few years.
Have you seen how
know?
good these guys are getting?
Yeah.
All the guys in the import class, like since we started the PSEA stuff,
That's
worked
what
with
I
Mel,
wanted to talk about.
and
Yeah.
then it's grown, and now these guys are bad to the bone. Every one of them has got, and they know what it needs, what it is, what it's doing.
Yeah.
so
It is just grown to. It's so good.
so like when I started working for you, there wasn't really much import racing.
No,
We had like IFO.
I had a bunch of street
and
guys.
Scott was
Well, Booster
Scott
Boy
was
Kyle.
just
He was a
finishing.
street guy.
Right.
One of
Scott had just finished up doing his series. What was that called? The U.S.
Scotty Mack.
U.S.
Yeah,
Performance.
U.S.
Oh,
It was-
Performance. He had
yeah.
an import
Yeah.
class that you guys all
Yeah,
helped.
we were
with.
involved with all that. Same type of rules.
And
yeah.
Scotty just kind of retired from it. So there wasn't really anything when I started working for Brent.
There wasn't
we
like
had-
an organized
No,
race. for
no, there was
imports.
IDRC, but IDRC wasn't even doing it anymore by then. Bandamere was just doing it for them.
Mhm.
So there was one import race a year, and it was on Memorial Weekend every
Yep.
year.
Yeah.
And that was it. And there's a lot of these other series don't let the imports come run. Like the
Right.
Rocky Mountain Stick Shift series. What's our field guy's name?
Yeah.
That
it's
old
great.
guy, he's cool as hell. And he keeps talking to the series, let these guys come race with
Right.
us. But because of our electronics and stuff, they don't really want to. So it was
Right.
like we were kind of limited. So there wasn't really racing. And then we started traveling. We got with Street to Track and our buddy, and we traveled
Yeah,
around,
street to track,
went
yeah.
to some other events in Vegas and some other places. And then a series kind of got put together here that we weren't really involved with, and it didn't really go anywhere. And then PSCA was kind of struggling with car count.
right.
And so we reached out to Mel and we're like, hey, give us a class or two. And he gave us 2 classes.
Yep.
And we dealt with sponsors, payouts, all of it.
You guys ran those
we
classes.
we
to
ran those.
be
We did the rules. We
transparent,
did all
right?
that stuff. Yeah, we did all that stuff. And it was all through PSCA. So we started that. The domestic guys didn't like us at first.
At first, but then
Because we had those kids that were 2-stepping in the staging lanes, blowing an air cooler up.
Those kids
and
that were acting like when you were younger. Is that what
yeah,
you're telling
for
me?
sure. For sure. They were punching machinists in the staging lanes and
Right.
stuff.
Right.
But like, they just don't know any better. You help them, you teach them. Hey, you got to check your 2-step. Put it on jack stands in your pit so it can't hit anybody.
Right.
Like just that kind of stuff that we all got taught,
Mm-hmm.
when we were younger, but they didn't. So they started learning. They're like, oh, these guys are They're learning. And then they started learning about our cars and the technology, and they're just drag racers. Like, that's the thing. I don't care if you're like, I'm not the biggest fan of bracket racing. Bracket racers, we need bracket racers just as much as they need us.
Yeah. I think
we all need each other to fill up the tracks, keep the tracks open and all that.
Yeah.
I've always felt, and like even more so now with Bandamere being closed and just what's going on in the world, even, you know, as far as, you know, we don't have to go
EPA,
there, but
like all that stuff.
we don't even, but you know what I'm saying? There's a lot going on that is trying, I feel like
we got to keep
hurdles
it
for
going.
drag
Yeah,
racing,
we got to
right?
keep it
But
going.
ever since in my involvement at Pueblo or even putting on my own races or whatever, I've always tried to figure out a way to make sure there was an import class or something. It's been a little tough with the Steel City no prep stuff, but I remember you guys racing at the Family Feud race that I put on, like the first ones, and you guys came out and raced.
He didn't have trophies. He didn't actually plan for the class. He's always said, if you guys have cars, if you show up, I'll give you a class.
Yeah.
So we brought down 5-6 cars that day.
Yeah.
And you were, by the end, we had, the pot was like
cool.
$1,000 or something, like $600-700, something like that, because there was 6 of us. And it, you know, you've always been real good about whatever money you guys put in, you know, we'll put it in a pot. And by the end, I won it. And I was like, Donnie, I want a trophy.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't got a trophy. I'm like, go find a cardboard box and draw me a trophy. That's still in my office at home.
I remember
I still have that. He drew me. He drew me.
Shannon might have.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Drew it, cut out this trophy.
Yeah.
Yep. That's still in my office.
That's cool.
But like that, so we were doing PSCA, and then it grew, and we were like outgrown. We had 40-some guys in the sport class, and then pretty full street class, or pro class.
The index, it wasn't.
No, we didn't have index yet.
It might have been just a sport class. It was like 70 cars that first one. It was
so.
There were
so
many cars.
Would it be safe
it was
to say
insane.
that? And then I'm going to jump back to what you're talking about too. But just so everybody can understand, you know, how big it got. Would it be safe to say that the import classes ended up being the biggest classes at PSCA?
100%.
By a lot, right?
By a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
And it was such a good show.
Yeah.
The sport class, there was one
awesome.
time, like Mel came to us and he's like, we got a problem. And I'm like, what's the problem, dude? He's like, we have 38 cars in this class and you have it as an all-run field. I'm like, they all showed up. We're running.
Yeah.
So then he's like, okay, we need to have another class. Where can we split this?
Yeah.
So then that's when we did an index class. And like, this is the hard part. Where do you add that other class? The index class, 1150, because then it took a bunch of stuff off of us. All the guys without roll cages, like me at the time, getting yelled at. You don't got a cage to go faster. You're in 1150.
Yeah.
So that split that class.
Yeah.
And
gave somebody a place to race.
And gave them somewhere to race and have a good time with their car. And it's a competitive.
Oh,
that's
the coolest class.
Is one of my fun. Yeah, it's awesome.
Even today, there were some 1150 guys that I teched, you know, that are.
Bro, those guys are testing the most.
Serious,
they're dialing that shit in.
Oh, they dial.
There was one guy,
hungry.
and I wish I could remember his name.
What was
but
the
I can
car?
picture the
what
car.
Color? What color?
Silver. And he said it's all motor.
Oh,
and
yeah, that's the guys they're from
class.
Kansas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kansas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're cool dudes.
He's stoked. You know?
Stoked.
And then I was messing with another guy from Kansas who I'm sure he's pro. Like, I told him his chassis was expired.
That was Marcos. Yeah.
And then I was like,
he was all
the pieces.
Had
like,
inserted.
I was like, bro, I'm just playing with you. I inspect chassis here in Colorado. I'm just joking. You look good. You know what I mean? But for a second there, he was all to pieces.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I'm definitely excited for tomorrow. I mean, last year when you guys did the one race at Pueblo,
that shocked you, didn't it?
I went public and said it was one of my favorite races of the year, and it was because
that
the
surprised
vibe
you that
was
there was
good.
that many cars, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
the vibe is what is the most important thing to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're there to race
the
and have a
vibe
good time
is
with
great.
everybody.
Exactly.
You know,
100%.
if someone's broken, we're all there fixing. We're all there helping. It's a whole family of just let's just race and have a good time.
And that's how we look at it. Like, there's a lot of, you know, we've been to Florida a couple of years ago in Florida. You walk through the pits, there's tarps up around awnings. Like, people were so secretive.
And
nobody would help. Nobody'd help each other. And then some of those guys come out and race out here, and they're like, "What is this? You're borrowing parts off of his car. You guys are helping each other. Like, you're racing each other.
It's so
you guys
awesome,
aren't even
though.
friends, and you have his wheels on your car."
I've seen guys that are going rounds. You know, you're getting close to semifinals or whatever, and I'll see dudes helping each other that are in the same class
Yep.
at PFI races for sure.
Yep.
I love it.
And that's
what's
encouraging. That's what, it should be.
There's a lot of
it
the
just
guys-
grows. It's and I'll throw this back for a second. But when I was growing up, I used to ride BMX,
Right.
and that's how the guys were. The vibe was that
Right. I
everybody was
skateboarded,
helping
and
each
that's how it
other.
was
We were all
skateboarding.
trying to grow each other
Yep.
and make each other better, help each other in every way. And I think some of that has just kind of carried on. So like the
And-
vibe just runs off, and that's just what
The
it
cool
is.
part for like me is like a bunch of the guys that I'm racing with, like in the pro class when my car's not crashed.
Right.
A bunch of those guys were the guys that I grew up watching race with Brent and everybody else that I looked up to.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I want to be that guy someday.
And like you said about BMX, I'm sure it was the same for you as it was skateboarding for me, because I skated for a long time on the East Coast, and I always wanted to skate with people that were better than me,
Yeah, always.
because that's how I got better. And, I think that a lot of the younger guys coming up in the import scene here in Colorado are drawn to you guys because they do look up to you, and you guys have knowledge and experience and can teach them some things about the platform and even just about the sport that brings them up.
Yeah, we love to share it,
Yeah.
and we love to have these guys part of it. Honestly, everyone's got their own little personality, and it's awesome.
And it is
Like,
awesome.
It just
yeah.
you just vibe right in.
Yep. Because there's a lot, of
Your tribe finds you.
you go to some
It's great.
races and everybody does, they don't want to really help the person they're racing against. They're not
No, but
clapping for them at
But
all.
we
you know what I'm
we
saying?
want the other guy on the line. We want that,
Yeah.
and yeah, we are happy if whoever goes fast.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Because you guys even draw other shops, other import
Yeah.
shops
Yeah.
that support PFI Speed Fest and want to come out and race.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we want to support them. We want to
Yeah.
grow their shop. We want them to be able to sell the parts and have these guys racing with them and then with us, and like
Yep.
it becomes a big community that way. So
and that's what keeps it
I encourage
alive.
that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
Keeps
we have
it
a bunch of customers here. Like we're pretty busy. We build engines and do all this stuff, but there's a bunch of guys that hey, I just want to buy a turnkey engine right now.
Mhm.
We have our buddy Wes Pry that we sell some of his engines. There's a bunch of guys here that have some of those.
Right.
It's all a close knit community.
Yeah, it just makes it easy.
Yeah.
Another cool thing that came about last year, and now you guys are doing 2 races out there too. Kearney.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
I love Kearney, Nebraska.
I love Kearney too, man. And
Such
Joe and Nicole, as far as track operators in Division 5, they're in the same division as Pueblo and Bandimere, and I have a lot of respect for Joe and Nicole, and they do.
They run a
great
tight
job.
ship. They do it, and they're
The
very
awesome.
willing
It is
to.
awesome. I love
Yeah,
it.
and they're willing to work with you on anything. Like they don't
Yeah.
look at us as like, oh God, these import guys
No,
are coming.
they're awesome.
They're like, we know you. You've been out here and raced before. What do you need? How
Yeah.
can we help? Just like you guys.
Yeah.
How can we help you? What makes it better for you?
And I talk to Joe here and there, at least every couple of weeks when the season's
Mm-hmm.
going on for sure. And then at PRI, I usually bump into him, hang out, and I'm just glad that you guys
Oh, I
are
love
doing
it out there.
races out
Just
there too.
everybody, if you're out there and you race at Kearney, make sure you keep flooring it past the boards.
They're at the 8th mile.
Right.
That got me the first time there
Did
on
it?
race week.
Oh,
on
it gets
race
everybody.
week. Yeah.
Yeah.
On race
Everybody's
week.
letting off. Where's the end? There's
Yeah.
a little triangle and it's orange.
Yeah.
That's the end.
That happens.
In a little rabbit hole, it sounds like, another track that's fairly close to us here in Colorado, because, of course, Bandimere closed. I don't know if you guys spend a lot of time out at Topeka at their track.
We went out there a few times.
We've been
I
out
go-
there a few times. Yeah.
With my role with Pueblo Motorsports Park, I've been out to Topeka a lot for the bracket racers. That's where the Division 5 finals was held. And, of course, they closed. But it sounds like Great Bend might be opening back up
Oh,
That'd
in
be
wow.
great.
2026.
I love that
That'd
place.
be great.
You think you guys
Oh, we can
might
drive there.
talk to them about doing a
Oh, Great
PFI
Bend.
Speed Fest
I
there?
would love it. I would
We
love
talk
that.
ab- we
Could
talk
you
about it
imagine
every
the
couple
cars all
months.
lined up like that in
Dude.
front of the track, like
That's a
on the side of the
community.
staging lanes? Ugh.
Dude, and
The
that
people
place
of
is
Great Bend
amazing.
the
love
town,
track-
the town is cool. Like when we do
Yeah.
the downtown like barbecue and
Yeah.
all that stuff, dude.
Yeah.
We park our imports out there, and there's a bunch of people
They
just
love it.
walking
Oh,
around.
it's such a cool place.
It's like a
I love the
it's
little
like a
town.
60s movie.
Yeah, it
Like,
really
is.
is.
It's like
just-
a 60s
it's a
movie.
vi-
Everybody
it's
out
a vibe
cruising
in
the
itself.
strip.
It is. And, if they open back up, then we might see a race week come back around.
Oh,
Yeah.
To Colorado.
we
again.
pray for Race Week to come back to Colorado.
I know you guys probably have already
love
seen that he's got that Rocky Mountain race
That is
weekend.
during one
Yeah.
of our carny races.
Is it? I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
That is during our
sucks
carny
bad.
race.
That sucks.
Dates
bad.
are always a pain.
It's tough.
It's
They're
tough
real
to
tough.
Well,
get
just
your
like
dates.
this race tomorrow, that was a last minute. You're like, hey, I got this weekend open. And this is a hard weekend to do
Yep.
because this is the first race of the year. There was
It is.
one test day at Pueblo this year. That's all
Yep.
anybody's gotten. So, like,
Yeah.
we're down a little bit of car count. It's still a really good car
This
count.
is the
It's gonna be
first
awesome.
race
It's
of
the
the
first
year.
race of the year. There's
First
so many
one.
guys, their cars
Yeah.
aren't ready.
Yeah, this is the first actual
Yeah.
race. Like there hasn't been a bracket race. We did a
No.
time only deal, but there hasn't been a bracket race. There hasn't been a Steel City. There hasn't been anything on the front side that's heads up. Nothing. And like you said, it just came about. It's a sketchy thing. What month did we plan this?
We decided this in December.
So for anybody who isn't in Colorado that might be watching this, doing a race in late April, early May is a dice roll in
Okay, so-
Colorado for sure.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, we tested at Pueblo. It was
Yep.
99 degrees that day.
It was hot, brother. Tomorrow's weather is going to be
4
better.
days. 4
Tomorrow's
days
gonna be
later.
great.
Yes.
Oh, I'm ready.
That's what I'm saying. I'm so glad you guys did roll the dice.
4
Yeah.
days later, we had a
We're
blizzard.
gamblers.
People are going to go fast tomorrow, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We
they're
had-
gonna go fast, and the track, if it's anything like it was today, these guys are gonna love
It's going to
it.
go fast.
Dude,
So
the
that-
track was so good today.
the red car Marcos
Yeah.
from out of town. They came up to us today and they're like, "Dude, we got to turn our shit up.
Yeah.
This track's tight right now." We're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's Dave Gager, man.
Oh, dude, his front half numbers were.
Yeah.
I mean, they're rival anybody at World Cup.
Yeah. Dave
That just
is,
tells
That's better than any of my short track numbers.
That's
even.
great.
one little thing about Dave, Joe Barry was on the show last, right? And even though I know it, I had never really thought about it. So Dave lives on the facility.
Yeah.
So like when we wake up, get our coffee at our houses and go sit on our front porch and say, all right, we need to pick up some stuff around the yard, cut the grass, do this or do that. That's the racetrack for Dave.
Yeah.
I showed up at 9 o'clock this morning.
What was he doing, brother?
There was a tractor going on that.
I'm
damn
sure
track.
he's getting you ready for you
100%.
guys, bro.
That
I'm
is
sitting
so
in my
rad.
lawn chair. That was the most. This morning was the most relaxing 2 hours I've had in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Sometimes in the past, Dave has gotten an unfair rap about does he support this racing or support that racing. Dave supports all racing, man.
Yeah.
Racing's racing.
Well, yeah, and anybody that takes
bracket.
pride in their track, they want
Yeah.
they want it as good as they can get. I mean,
Primarily,
that's what
he
it is.
raced ET points and stuff. He's got a Mustang. He was doing super comp, super gas, but he just loves it all. And he's stoked that you guys are there.
We appreciate him.
Yeah.
We
Absolutely.
appreciate
All the-
his
all
hard
the
work and
guys.
all his efforts.
Yeah.
Everybody.
And Larry
Those guys don't get enough
Myers,
credit.
our announcer, ended his trip. He goes to Texas and stays the whole winter in Texas, and he usually doesn't get back till the end of May. And I was like, bro, we need an announcer because that's not me. There's too many things going on that I end up forgetting to get on the mic and say stuff. And he was like, that he had such a good time last year too.
Yeah.
That they ended their trip, came home. He's back. He's up in Elizabeth now, unloading his camper and all his motorhome, and going to be down tomorrow morning to
He
get
was
on the
emailing
mic.
me asking what time
Was
to
he?
be there and everything.
Was
Yeah.
he? That's cool.
He's been emailing me the last couple of weeks.
That's cool.
That is awesome.
That is awesome.
Yep.
For real. I love those guys, man.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't he drive a PT Cruiser?
he does.
That's why I like that guy.
He does drive a
Vouch guy.
PT Cruiser. While he was down in Texas, he actually went to Edinburgh and announced a couple races there.
Oh, sweet.
Yep. So, he's all about it. So,
Well,
yeah.
can't thank him enough either because
Yeah.
he does a great job. So
And so not only are we racing tomorrow, though, we've got a car show going on too, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Which, I've got some printouts for you, but there's good car show entry too,
Yeah.
oh, that'd be awesome.
pre-entry,
Yeah.
So,
We'd
got-
love to try to grow it and get everyone together. I mean, it's, anytime we can get the community together and everyone can just rap and check
So
stuff out and have a
The
good time.
car show part, me and him aren't even doing.
Yeah.
So we have our whole crew of guys, and Shane has his group of guys and everything.
right.
So his buddies, Nick, the Goo Lagoon Garage guys,
And they
With-
did
they're
it
the
last year
car
too,
show.
right?
They're the
Yeah.
car show guys of our group.
Yeah.
Nick wraps our cars, and helps us with stuff at the shop, and they go to Cars and Coffee and all these car shows and stuff.
So if you guys need your car wrapped,
And-
hit up Nick.
Yeah. But like these guys are like, hey, can we have a car show at your event? And we're like, yeah, what do you need from us? And they're like, just help, trophies, support,
Yeah.
That's
I
their
always
thing.
dig the car show.
Yeah, it's cool.
It just makes it.
Well,
Well, and then some people aren't
two-step
racers. I
comp.
mean, they they enjoy it and they love the tech and they love what the cars look like and all
And
that
they
stuff.
have their own car
Yeah,
that
but
they're
they-
proud of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Show it off.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
So the Racing Carney, the second one when is that one?
It's in like 2.5, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's the end of this month.
Yeah.
They're close.
Yeah. And then
August here, and then
then back
September
there.
there.
and that's going to be during that Rocky Mountain.
And this is a whole little series we do.
Yeah,
this
this is-
we
there's
have
like
points for
points.
everybody. Like
Yeah. The points is
we
a new
nerded-
thing this year, though.
Yeah, we
right?
Well, no, we did points with PSCA last year just because we only had one date.
Yep.
And
Each
then we
trip.
got the second one last minute at Kearney.
Right.
We just couldn't do points.
And we were trying to get Flying H, and we're talking to all these other tracks, trying to like put something together. But
It's tough.
you guys are all the
Yeah.
solid ones. So
Yeah, it's tough for
they'll,
sure.
they'll learn. And
But we
Wonder-
had to do something because,
yeah,
with PSCA, we pumped this up so much, like the
Yeah.
whole community did.
Yeah.
But there's all these cars that got done.
I mean, there was
like, they
guys
were
that
gonna
started
sit in
racing
garages.
because of your classes at PSCA,
So
right?
so what was our car count last year? Just rough idea. What do we think in classes? 60 cars?
At the
In the-
PFI.
Yeah, the four.
I was trying to think today, and I'd have to go back and look. But
I would say
I was
60.
thinking you guys were pushing a little more than 60.
Yeah.
I was thinking
so
you were
conservatively
creeping up on 100.
60.
Yeah.
Think 60 race cars that don't have anywhere to race.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
that's
and-
how it was when
and-
PSCA ended.
Yeah.
well,
When
and
Vandermeer
this group of
closed.
guys, like we're all really good friends.
Right.
Mhm.
Like the guys that all race, anyone that even you guys that come and race with us, you'll just get adopted. Like we all just keep
Right.
growing, and yeah, you miss each other. The races is how we get together.
This is
Yeah.
the family reunion 4
Yeah,
times
this
a
is
year.
the reunion 4
Yeah.
times a year, and now we're putting points and money on it. So let's go.
Yeah. And then, like I say, the weather's going to be great tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be a good time for sure. And you guys, any new sponsors this year and from last year? Or is
we sponsored the pro class right now.
right.
The sport class is GP1 Racing. They've
Mark-
sponsored everything
Market GP1 is
through PSCA and everything. They've
phenomenal.
sponsored all of
So
it.
they've been with you guys for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole time.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then Rogue Industries. So that's actually a racer of ours in the 10-0 class. He's doing a bunch of, aluminum parts and all this stuff,
Right.
parts design and manufacturing. He races the 10-0 class. He sponsored. We've got Fuel Tech. Fuel Tech's been with us the whole time too.
Right.
Yep.
They're sponsoring 1150. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. I've looked at these names so many times. Boyd.
Oh,
Boyd and
yeah.
Sons, yeah.
Boyd Performance.
Right.
He's helped us forever.
And that's a long friendship there,
Yeah.
too.
Well, he worked for Brent.
Yeah, Jeff
Yeah.
Boyd. When he moved from Pennsylvania, yeah, he worked for me. It was
Yeah.
great. It was awesome.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I
like,
named him Cotterpin. Like I'm
that
the
was,
guy.
that was from him.
Oh, that
I'm-
nickname came from you?
yeah, the nickname
Yeah.
came from me.
That's cool.
Because back then
Didn't
there was
know
that
that.
whole show with Boyd Coddington. You remember?
Yeah.
And I'd call him Floyd Cotterpin. Well, the Cotterpin part stuck.
That's where it
Nice.
came from.
Because
Yeah,
of
I
the
didn't
stuff
know
he-
that.
yeah.
I didn't,
So that's
I've
really
heard
how it
the
was.
nickname before,
Yeah,
but I didn't know that you planted that on him. That's cool.
That was
Yeah.
he worked at the shop, and
Well, and he
would stick stuff together with Cotterpin.
he lives literally around the corner from our shop. Like you went to his
Oh, yeah.
place with us.
There's
We-
cert.
Dude, he comes
Mustang.
flying in at 90 mile an hour in a smart car every day just to come say hi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's our
Like, he's-
Seinfeld.
yeah,
You
Like
could almost
Kramer.
throw a rock from your shop.
Oh, we used
Yeah.
to drive through the field
Yeah.
until somebody bought the field. They don't like us ripping the smart cars through the field anymore, but we used to.
Yeah,
You
But
know,
like he's around all the time. He showed up at FL2K when I was down there.
nice.
He just came and hung out. How can I help?
yeah.
He's turning wrenches on my car, helping out.
That's another dude I
so-
see helping a lot of people
Oh,
like
yeah.
at the track
Yeah,
up at
so,
Vandermeer.
so anybody listening, you need to get involved and you need a sponsor. You need to kind of grow
Yeah,
into this because
100%.
we'll pump your stuff up too and
Yeah.
get you involved.
And sponsors are, they can help a race keep happening.
That's
Yeah,
all the
for
payouts.
sure.
That's all the
Yeah.
payouts. And a lot of these guys, like, especially the out of town guys and everything coming, a lot of them, we have good payouts.
Yeah.
That's why they come.
Oh yeah. I was looking at all the states that are here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It is wild.
Just looking at the license plates in the parking lot right now.
So on Shane's girlfriend's car,
Yeah.
it's a Pennsylvania. I had a
Yeah.
Dude, they
check it
just
today.
drove that from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, they drove.
They
from
road
Pennsylvania.
tripped it. She just moved here.
That's all,
They
they
road
drove that
tripped
all
that
the way
thing.
here
All the
and
way.
ready to race.
And they're gonna race it tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
hold
cool.
on. They had to they rebuilt it.
Oh, yeah.
Like the last couple.
Yeah.
weeks.
Shane did do some updates.
He's been working on it, getting it right after they got it here, but they drove it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he dug into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
He's got a whole little YouTube video about it. You
I'll have to
just
check
have to
it
check
out.
out Goofy Built Shane's channel.
Well,
Spoiler: I blew the turbo up on the dyno.
But
so his
but the
channel's
drive-
back in
it's back.
that whole.
It was down for 2 days.
Yeah,
2 or 3 days, yeah.
somebody
2 days.
snagged his YouTube channel, right?
Unbelievable.
What kind of pain in the ass was that to get sorted out?
Unbelievable.
Dude, I don't think Shane slept for days. Not just from working.
Just emailing and talking to, getting a hold of Google. You have to start a Twitter and you have to do all these hoop jumping.
it's a pain.
But he did get it, and
He's back in charge
Yeah,
of it.
so-
now.
Yeah.
so anybody who wants to sponsor you through email and ask you to click a link, don't click the link.
Right.
Yeah,
That what started it?
that's what started.
That's what started it.
Man.
He,
On
he's
his-
gotten some YouTube reads, little ads, and they'll offer him, like $1,000, and
Right.
he got one, and I don't remember the name of it. It was a pretty
It was a reputable place.
Looked
reputable
real.
one, yeah.
They get,
It's somebody that
And
some of our other
he
friends
asked
have
me
done.
about it, and I was like, I know they had contacted Emilio, so I was like, well, Emilio, told him to give him this much, so just ask him for that and just see what it does. Well, when he did that,
That's when his YouTube got
they snagged it.
hacked. Yeah.
yeah.
So we learn,
yeah.
and
for
that's
sure.
part of this whole this whole technology world, this what we're
Yeah.
living in with the internet. You just got, if it's a link, don't click it.
Yeah, for sure. And a
No
lot of them
clicking
look
links.
Real,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, none of the links are real. They're
Yeah.
all hackers.
If it's too good to be true, it's too
too
good.
good
It's
to be true.
100%.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, if you're real, then leave a phone number. I don't know, or
Like
a
with our
texting number.
with our shop, I get anywhere from 100 to 500 emails a day,
I bet.
and a lot of that is real customers and stuff. But sorting through like the
weeding.
spam and the bogus
Yeah.
and the dude, we've had the most realistic emails that they are supposedly customers. They're talking about cars and stuff. Then you start looking at the email and start reading it, and you're like, this is bogus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They're good
The
at what they
lengths that
do.
they go
or-
to.
They want you to click on a picture of their car. You know,
Right.
it's just, you got it.
I spend my whole day walking on eggshells
to
just
make sure
checking
you
emails.
don't. Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause-
for sure.
That's like our whole business livelihood. If I screw up that, Brent's business, he trusts me to
Yeah.
run this as my own, and I click the wrong thing,
Yeah.
screw it all up.
Yeah. And they're getting trickier and trickier
Yeah.
every day,
And as a business, we've had to update our website and all this.
It never ends.
We got taken on a internet sale.
Oh, yeah.
It went through all this safety, internet sales stuff.
Right.
No red flags. Address matched. Everything. It checked all the boxes. Everything was fine. Waited the 5 days for stuff to clear. Shipped this stuff out. Charged back. It was a spam. It was a scam. Parts got
man.
taken. It was like $5,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
Small business. That's
I've known
hard.
some other guys that's happened
Yeah.
Yeah.
to where they get the product, charge it back, and then a lot of times there's nothing you can do, right?
Yeah, nothing you can do.
So we had to change our whole, credit card, our website credit card payment system, because the system we were on was not friendly to what would you call us? Not
the merchant.
The merchant, yeah.
Right.
It wasn't supportive of the merchant.
Right.
And so we switched to a different company that they're
Yeah.
very supportive
Of the merchant.
of the merchant. Yeah.
They protect the merchant from
Yep.
stuff like that. That's cool.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
That's the world now. It's not 1-800 numbers in the phone books.
Nah, it's
No.
not. It's
We
come a
don't like-
long
we
way
don't-
No
from
voice, no messages.
Parts Finder International
That's
and
it.
Honda Dismantlers, huh?
Yeah.
Things have changed a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
And
don't
I-
do anything by phone either. All of our customer stuff's through email.
Yeah.
Because it keeps us so we're busy during the day and we
Productive.
can be productive. Because if you're having to stop every 10 minutes to answer
the
a phone,
yeah.
you know, you lose track of where you're at in your day and what you're doing. So
And not to
I
take
can
it away
s-
from anybody, but you know, some people like to talk for an hour plus. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
But it's one of those, I can set
hard.
aside time multiple times a day to sit there and check emails. And then I have a record of what
yeah.
customers have asked so we don't miss something.
And everybody at the shop when they're at the shop, they're working.
Oh,
so it's hard
everybody's
to
going.
stop and
yeah,
Well, and you're even working when you're gone.
Yeah.
Like you see us, we're on our phones constantly, you know, ordering parts or, you know, helping out or scheduling something.
I mean, you
know?
guys are doing stuff for even other people. Like when I was up there for the chassis seminar, Hayden Wilson brought over a car for Kyle,
Yeah.
Boosted Boys, yeah.
and you guys took it out there.
Yeah.
to him.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, that's a whole nother deal.
Yeah.
We're helping our boys out, trying to help them grow and build.
That's what I'm
build stuff
saying,
too.
so-
yeah, I mean that's how I got involved. You know, even with Cletus and
Your
Race
support
Week
and everything is
Yeah.
not just to Colorado. You got
No.
guys. you
We're trying to
help
build.
everywhere.
We want to build the community. Like,
Yeah.
love
We're-
to share our passion and why we do all this. You know what I mean? And bring a. You know, you want others to be involved. You want a community of like-minded people, and
For sure.
I mean, I do a lot of remote tuning through the shop. I tune cars in other countries
yeah.
weekly almost.
yeah,
You know, they don't have access to dynos or guys that tune and stuff. Like,
yeah.
we
We're
help out wherever we can.
remote. Yeah, it's constant go. Honestly, we start in the morning and the day flies by so fast. I don't even know what happened.
My wife
Usually
shows
you're-
up to the shop when she gets off work because, like, she works a day job and then she comes and she, like, helps fulfill
Yeah.
our orders on the
Yeah,
website and all that
she's
stuff. But, like, she'll walk in and I'm like, it's not lunchtime right now?
Right.
Yeah.
Days
Like, it's
just
5
going by.
o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we tell what time it is.
Yeah,
she
when
comes.
Brittany gets there. We're
So-
like, damn, we didn't eat lunch. We screwed up today.
With all the traveling you guys have done, you know, to the East Coast, you know, Colorado going to stay home or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta. You know, I love visiting places,
Me too.
but it's
I like snowbird
it
in
ain't
Florida.
Colorado. It ain't. You know, Colorado's Colorado.
Colorado's home.
Florida is a vibe and it's super fun, but there ain't no way. I did tune some cars there in the summer, and that
The one I did in
literally
July,
cooked it for me. I was in a car drinking a gallon plus of water, and I still felt like I was gonna have heat stroke,
Right.
and I never want to feel it again.
dude, I was in a climate controlled dyno shop in
Yeah.
Orlando in July or August, and that was still horrid.
Oh yeah. You know, I'm from the 7 cities, Virginia Beach, Norfolk area, Virginia. The humidity, you know, I go home now. If it's during the summer, it's like, man, I don't miss this humidity. So
I like snowbirding there. I love being able
yeah,
to have
winters are
another
great.
race season. Like we
Yeah,
most
that
of the
helped us
time-
a lot.
Yeah, we leave my race car, truck, and trailer down there
yeah.
because we can fly back and forth, like me and him or me and my wife, like 7-8 times for the price of driving once.
Yeah,
So think that's
flights are cheap.
That's 8 to 10 more track days
Right.
to learn. And when we're down there, like we aren't like here. You see, today I was plugged into 20 different cars.
Absolutely. You were
So
going hard all
if
day.
I had my car, I'm not really focusing on it. But when we're down there, we can focus on whatever car we've got
Yeah,
there.
that
And
helps.
that's when we make a lot of progress.
on your own cars,
And-
probably.
but then-
'Cause you're
Yeah.
there to race
But- Yeah.
yourselves.
Yeah.
But then the next year when we come back, all that info gets transferred into all of our customer cars. So
For
that's why
sure.
all the cars just keep getting faster and faster and faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, we keep finding little things, and
You know, that's something, the way it's all progressed, like when we started PSCA, like I remember people were protesting me for running like 1090s in the sport class. Now the sport class, man, you got to be running a 920.
yeah,
Like that's a 920
Right.
class.
And we're talking, like we said earlier, back in 96,
Oh, 14s.
14s was,
yeah,
you were moving, you were the fast guy.
yeah. So it's yet to happen, but Colorado has not seen a front wheel drive 7-second pass yet,
And
and we're all trying to hunt that little pass down.
I think last year there were some guys that got close, right?
So the
20s.
records, yeah, 20s, but the
20s
records
with cars that are
8-0.
together. Cars that are together,
Yep.
it's 20s.
Yep, cars that are together. Yep.
820s is where everybody's at.
I went a 798, but that was in Florida.
Right.
I didn't do it here. and
So
then I
up here
crashed the
it's
damn car.
820s as far as we
Well,
know.
that's
The
running
8.0
cars.
is
It's
the-
8.0,
is the
but that
state
car's not
record.
running anymore.
Yep.
Like
Oh,
that car's
okay.
out of contention.
Gotcha.
It can't progress itself any farther.
So everybody else is 820s right now.
Yeah, but they're creeping.
Yeah.
This weekend we might see that go down.
Yeah, because like you say, the track's tight. It's only supposed to be, I think, like 77 degrees tomorrow.
You got Marcos,
you got Max,
and
Morgan
you got
stuff's
Steven,
back to get Steven. And like Stevens is like a replica of my car.
Yeah.
Like we've got a lot of data. You saw what it did today.
Oh yeah.
And that was
the first hit.
That was the first hit.
Yeah.
I made what, 2 dyno pulls?
Yep.
And then I just blabbered some stuff in the ECU off of my car and was like, all right, let's try it.
Yeah. So the guys to look out for tomorrow to maybe get that are all going to be hunting after it, right?
Yeah. I mean, Kyle White, I don't know if he got his new car together, but that new car is going to fly. Kyle White's the one to look out for with the new car, too.
Yeah, so there's some good stuff coming. This is going to be it. We see his tomorrow. I'm freaking out.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time for sure. Where do you guys see the future of import racing in Colorado? Let's think of the best case scenario that Pueblo just keeps getting better and that another track opens up north.
I see this turning into a 4 to 6 race series.
Yeah, we just turned it into more of a series. I mean, you know what I mean?
These guys will keep racing.
Yeah.
We want to race.
Yeah.
If there was one a month or something, we'd figure it out. You know what I mean? All summer long.
Yeah.
Because it's
hoping
just like
that, we're starting that Rocky Mountain Streetcar series. We just had to come up with a name, which I ran by you guys first.
We talked a lot about that.
Because I definitely wanted import classes to be able to come and race in that series. There's 4 races. But I also didn't want it to be anything different than what you guys have already built because in my opinion, what you guys have built back starting in 96 and then the growth that it experienced with, towards the last few years of PSCA, that's the best thing for import drag racers in Colorado. And then if the import drag racing core continues to grow, that's a great thing for Colorado drag racing as a whole because the more cars, whether they're imports or not, that's the best move. Even on the backside stuff that we're doing, Steel City, No Prep, I'd like to figure out a way to include imports there in a class. It just needs to be something that there's enough cars there and maybe it draws some sponsorship that helps make it what it needs to be, but it'd be great to eventually have a front-wheel drive class or an all-wheel drive or, something that works for import guys to be able to come and race. And like I said, you two guys have always supported everything that I've seen happening in Colorado. You came and raced in what, big tire?
Yeah.
Because of the way the rules were and stuff, and then I think Chris Phillips raced in small tire or big tire.
Has always raced.
Time,
Yeah, he's always shown up at the No Prep.
Him and his brother both have always supported. Like I remember Colorado Street Outlaws; they were both racing there too.
Yeah.
But I want us all to keep getting faster and growing the sport here in Colorado.
That's it. That's what we're after.
And it's scary, right? I mean, Bandimere closing, it scared the shit out of me.
Ugh, terrible.
A lot of people were hitting me up, with different things like, oh, now this and that for Pueblo. And that's not what I've ever been about. I enjoyed going to Bandimere as much as I enjoy going to Pueblo. So
you just enjoy the racetrack.
For them closing, I mean, I don't think anybody can see it, but that's my last time at Pueblo on the back of his golf cart, Mike's golf cart. That was my last time there. That was the last Street Outlaws race that ran at.
I'm his favorite person.
I know. He loves you.
I'm his favorite
He
person.
loves you.
He loves me.
He
Pinche
does.
import guy.
He does like you.
I'm the
right?
Pinche
He's
import
just
guy.
Yeah, he loves you. For real. I mean, Bandimere closing.
Oh, it hurt everybody.
Yeah.
It hurt everybody, but I feel like it brought a bunch of people closer too.
Yeah, it just made us all hustle even harder to figure out how we can make some races.
That test day a couple weeks ago, that was so cool to see Sporty there, helping chassis certs and everything. This community it's not split, Pueblo, Bandimere.
Yeah.
Everybody works together.
One cool thing about Sporty,
there's enough drag racers for all these tracks.
Is he's even been starting to come down and race at Pueblo, and Sporty has always been good to me. Him and Larry Chris both. Even when I would go to Bandamere and take pictures, they would just let me pretty much run around. And I haven't seen a lot of photographers stand on the walls in between the cars, other
especially
than
with
myself. Maybe somebody else has, but
Not me.
Brent got in trouble with Larry.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
They sewed it up.
That's
We
good.
did sew it up.
That's good. He's gotten mad at me a couple times too, but
Well, and he's just trying to look out for his track and
Absolutely.
safety and everything
Absolutely.
else. So I get it.
yeah, absolutely. But
he got some harsh YouTube words from people.
Yeah.
Those people
I felt bad.
he did.
Yeah.
I'm not one to cut things that I
One-
probably should cut.
He doesn't cut stuff out of videos sometimes.
It's real.
And
This
it
is my
was-
real life.
That's
I just
cool.
put my real life out
and
there.
Larry yelled at him on video for like where he was. And oh man, the YouTube world called the Bandamere office.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Like there was a bunch of people called and emailed Bandamere, and like we had to call off the dogs. Like
Really?
people- yeah.
It was that bad?
It was
I didn't know
bad.
that.
We had to sit down and have meetings with Larry. Like me and Papa Steve.
I don't even want to know how that went, probably. I'm
It
sure that
ended
was
up good.
That's
It ended
good.
up
Larry's
good.
cool, man.
No, and
Like,
it ended up,
you
it
know,
changed the relationship.
he
it
it made
did,
it better.
and I understood the boundaries, and I did what I was supposed to do.
yeah.
It actually allowed me to have a little more freedom in some other spots that
Because it opened the conversation
Yeah, it
to
opened the
what can be
conversation, so-
done.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Sometimes
it
you
worked
need-
out.
Yeah, sometimes you need that though to break a barrier.
For sure.
Yeah,
You know?
and it did work out good. And Larry is always just taking care of us at the
He's
track.
just super
He's just
passionate about
super passionate and
sport.
so good with the surface.
And my thing, like
He's
Larry,
the man.
and he
you know.
cares a lot. So.
yeah, Larry and Sporty,
appreciate
like
you.
they've always cared about the safety of stuff. Like,
And a lot of
I appreciate that.
the stuff that tracks use to prepare the track, like the rotator,
Yeah,
and the
all the
sprayer,
tools, yeah.
are all stuff that Larry designed.
Yep.
And there's other people who have tried to duplicate what he's created, and some of that stuff works good too. But as far as Pueblo goes, we use a Larry Chris rotator as a dragger, and every
I heard
sprayer
it
we've
at
ever
9
had
o'clock this morning.
is a Larry Chris sprayer. So as far as track preparation, I mean, he kept Bandamere.
Yeah.
But and you're always at any track, you're always going to have that day that everybody's like, oh, I can't get down it, whatever.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
If you can't get down it, that's your fault.
But yeah, they've been supportive of Pueblo. I think a lot of people probably don't realize that until now, when they see Sporty there or they see Larry coming down to help do some stuff. One day, right before Thanksgiving, before I got in this office here at Alpine Ford, my desk was right outside of the office along this wall. And I'm sitting there working, and I look up, and I see Sporty come in the door. And he's got this big binder and this envelope, right? And so he comes over to my desk and just told me that he was thankful for me. And he gave me a big binder that was a chassis book, which I had one that the NHRA sent me when I got signed up, but he wanted to make sure I had one. And it had a bunch of dividers in it and stuff. And then he gave me, in the envelope was all these pictures from Pueblo from back in like the 80s. Some of them are of him and Larry working with, because they used to do the Winston Cup series at Pueblo. So some of them are of him and Larry working with that team. They're on the starting line, and that's awesome to me, because that's kind of what we're talking about right now, right? Like within the import scene here in Colorado, you got you guys and some other shops like PFC, right?
Yeah, PFC, Easy Motorsports.
That you guys all get along with well.
Oh, yeah.
So, I try to get along with anybody from any other tracks, because I just kind of was recruited into what I'm doing with Pueblo, right? So, like Joe and them, and the support, I think the sport needs racers to support racers, tracks to support racers, racers to support tracks, and tracks to support tracks.
Yeah, we're all in this together.
It's just
Yeah.
like
I love it.
like the index guy, not liking the heads up guy or the heads up.
Yeah.
You need each other.
And one of the first people that actually told me that, since we're talking about it, is Larry Chris. A few times he's told me, as far as like helping out if we need tires for the dragger or prep, or now that we have a scrubber, chemical for the scrubber, we get a lot of that from Bandamere, right? And one time at Bandamere, Larry was like, we're better together than apart.
Yeah.
And, that's absolutely correct. Even in like y'all's race, it's probably good that there's some other shops that are behind
yeah.
it and supporting it and coming.
Yeah.
It's
We want
helping
them
the
to
whole
grow
thing
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
We love their clients, and they're like, bring everybody.
It is scary, like when they closed, and I'd have people hit me up like, oh, what are you going to do now? And, oh, you're going to be so busy, and y'all are going to do this and that. And I don't think a lot of people understand the dynamic of Pueblo Motorsports Park. It's owned by the city. The facility is owned by the city.
It's shared with the road course.
It's shared with the road course.
Your schedule's cut in half.
Yeah. Basically, the schedule is tough. It's tough to schedule races. There's a lot of people now that are like, oh, how come you're not doing more drag racing? Well, really look at the schedule and tell me where I can.
Yeah.
There's not any dates there to do so. We work a lot harder in drag race, not taking anything away from anybody that road races. I enjoy road racing on the cruises for Steel City,
it's so fun.
but it's easier money for a facility than drag racing is. You can do it with less people. A lot of times the groups that rent the track carry their own insurance. They bring their own staff, like corner workers. Corner marshals is the correct word. Corner workers sounds a little tough.
Yeah.
They get a little upset with me when I call them that. But
you should make that a T-shirt for them.
Yeah. It's just tough because a lot of times they'll hire out their own EMTs and stuff like that. With drag racing, you need a larger staff that's out there in the desert working. And so, I've had a lot of people that race that have tried it. And I'm like, yeah, you can come try it. It's a little different working in the desert than it is racing in it, though.
Yeah.
But, I'm excited for this weekend.
I'm excited too.
I think it's going to be a great race tomorrow. I know you're going to have some stuff on the YouTube channel, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep. So everybody watch PFI Speed. We'll
Yep.
cover it all.
Yeah. And
have a great time doing it.
And I'm looking forward. I mean, I had a good time working with you guys last year because your wife, Brittany, and I were, and you're going to, did a lot of the staging.
Yeah.
There were some hurdles. We got through them. Everybody was happy
we
at
were
the end of the
learning.
race.
Yeah.
And it was a good time. And tomorrow's going to be the same.
Tomorrow we're firing them up.
I just got a good feeling. The first race of the 50th year of Pueblo Motorsports Park
And
it's
is
PFI Speed.
PFI Speed Fest.
Let's go.
And it's imports.
That's awesome.
That says a lot.
Going
We come
down.
a long way, right?
Mhm.
Yep. That's cool.
So,
That's forever.
yeah, to wrap this up, I just want to tell you guys I appreciate your support of Pueblo Motorsports Park.
Yeah,
We appreciate you guys
Yeah.
letting us come.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys as friends.
Yeah, same.
I think, everybody that drag races in Colorado could learn a lot of your camaraderie, of the way you guys look out for each other, even the two of you, and everybody, not only in import racing, because, when I was up there doing chassis seminars, going back to that, it wasn't only imports that were at your shop.
There's not going to just be imports at the track tomorrow.
No.
The first pass you're going to see tomorrow down that track, you're going to be shocked.
Don't tell me.
You're going
I
to
wanna
see something
find
cool.
out.
That's
I'm
why
gonna
I'm
have to find
just,
out.
yeah, I'm just leaving
It's
it.
coming.
You're going to see something cool.
Something else before we close out or start to get there. Speaking of the road course and road course racing at Pueblo, Colorado.
Did you see that Bugatti on that track?
That's
the other
where
day?
I'm going. And PFI Speed.
Yeah.
So I showed the guys that work the road course and manage the road course racing, because one of them posted this picture of this car on the track, the
With this
Bugatti.
Goofy dude on the
I had
dyno.
already seen Brent's post on Instagram of him in the car on the dyno. So I'm like, I told Dave, I was like, I don't think people totally understand
Yeah.
PFI Speed's involvement in not only drag racing, but motorsports as a whole. So I sent him a picture, and to prove my point, I dug through and took a screenshot of you with Clay.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
so the bracket racer guys that don't understand, you've worked with some top fuel guys.
Oh, all
Clay's the greatest.
You know
say
what I
your name,
mean?
Yeah. Everybody.
You've worked with some street outlaw guys,
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Lutz even, right?
Yep. Yep.
And then I see this picture of you in this dope-ass Bugatti
Cool. Crazy cool.
that's then
I get goosebumps just think about
one
that
of the
car.
corner marshals posts this picture of it going around
Yeah.
turn 7 or whatever it was. And I'm like, man, you know, y'all's fingerprint is everywhere in motorsports in Colorado, and not only Colorado too, but you know, and I appreciate you guys coming on tonight, and I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. I think
Yeah,
it's
this
going to
was
be
fun.
awesome.
Yeah. It's
Thanks,
great.
man.
Yeah, man.
So we're going to wrap this up. Make sure that you tune in soon to check out what goes down tomorrow on Brent's YouTube, PFI Speed. If you're looking to have your import tuned, make sure you hit Brent up. He'll take care of you. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Woo! Let's go.
I appreciate you
Down in
guys.
front.
Yeah, absolutely.